at a trap that black can play on white if white is too focused on getting an attack on f7 and too busy to worry about his own kingside problems. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop to c4, and after that, now knight to d4. So at first it seems kind of weird because black is giving up the e5 pawn, and he's also letting white get a nice attack on f7. So now something has to be done about the fork. So queen to g5, a brilliant move in this position. Now g2 is under attack, the knight is under attack, however f7 is under an attack. So let's see what happens. After the knight takes f7, still getting the fork on the queen and the rook, queen takes g2, and white wants to keep his advantage. So he sees that he can take the rook on h8 at any time, it's trapped. So he saves his own rook. Now, queen takes e4, the bishop moves to e2 to interpose, and now, knight to f3 is a beautiful smothered mate. And of course, if the queen moves, knight takes queen. So now let's take a look at if white sees the problem with rook to f1 and just decides to go for the trade. So take, the bishop has to move back to f1, queen takes e4, and now, after the bishop interposes on e2 once again, a beautiful move can win a queen, with knight takes c2 check. The queen has to take because if the king moves to f1, queen to h1 is checkmate. Alright, so we obviously now know that knight takes f7 is a blunder. Let's take a look at bishop takes f7. So bishop takes f7 check, and now king to e7 keeping the attack on the bishop. The knight is hanging, and g2 is hanging. So now, no move can save a piece. If the knight moves away, the bishop is hanging, and also g2 is hanging. So now white is going to lose a knight or a bishop. Even after something like f4, just simply trying to keep the advantage, it just simply loses a pawn. Or, I suppose you could take on g2. That also works, because there's 3 things under attack, and you cannot defend all 3 of them. So now that we know that that does not work, how about if white takes here and realizes that after queen to g5, realizes the trap. There is nothing that he can do to stop it. He's already lost. So we can look at some simple moves like, let's just say, knight to g4. However, after knight to g4, we run into d5, winning a bishop or a knight. So if, let's say, the bishop moves here, we simply attack it, and now bishop is going to take g4 next move. If the bishop moves to e2, adding another defender on the knight, knight takes, queen takes, bishop takes knight, and black is up a bishop. So now in this position, the correct move is actually not taking the free pawn. Instead, the right move is taking the knight on d4. And then, after e takes d4 to keep the material equal, of course, now white can develop. He can develop really anywhere. Maybe queen to f3, castles, maybe even d3. That also works. And now, white has 2 developed pieces, so 2 tempos, while black has nothing out. Also, black has doubled d-pawns, which could become a weakness later on.